Hello, baby girls and baby boys. Yes, I stole that interview from a reel I watched today, and welcome back to my channel. Did you understand that I do push ups every day? Before I start this book review, actually, not book review, it's a book recommendation. I just want to talk about the movie I watched right now. It's called Pursuit of Happiness by The movie, like the lead actor is Will Smith, and it's so good. You would want to watch it at a time in your life where you feel like you're struggling, you're giving it all in, and nothing seems to be working out until one day, one moment, something happens, and it just all seems to be okay for a while, and then maybe not okay, but like for that moment, you understand why happiness is something that you pursue. It's not something that you just get, but like you keep pursuing it and it keeps going on and on. I always start my book recommendations with Sudha Murthy's books because when I first started reading, I started with her books, and this is the only book that I currently have left because I seem to have given all the other books that I've read to people as presents or just to read, to borrow, and then I never took them back. So this book is called Wise and Otherwise, but you can read just any book of Sudha Murthy if you're getting started, or even if you feel like you're in a reading slump and you don't want to read anything heavy, but you also want to read something worthwhile. These are the books that you go for. She, in very simple and understandable words, explains through her stories things that she's come through in life and that she has some value to give to you. And it has to be one of the best starts to my reading journey, which was around 4 years back. And I'm going to end on the book that I just finished reading. It is a romance novel, and it has gotten me back into reading novels after 5 months, I would say, like a good 5 months. Okay, the next book I would like to like has been like one of the highlights of my read has been The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. There are some books that you read that you think about night and day, and you don't want to stop thinking about those books while you're reading them and even after you've read them. This is one of those books for me. I tried to read this the second time, and it was just a really big read for me because I remembered everything, so I didn't want to read something that I already knew. But this is a book that you would want to read when you think that like big people have everything sorted out in life, but they actually don't. They have just like the same kind of problems and difficulties that we go through. It's just at a far superior level. And while you are reading this book, you're not even going to realize how well your vocabulary is going to become and how well you can actually finish fat books, because there is this idea that you don't want to read fat books because they are in fact going to take a lot of time, but this actually might not. And now I'm considering that I start reading this again, because why the hell not? I have a 30-minute ride to work every day, and I think this would be a great reread. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna go to the next book now, and that's called The Silent Patient. I'm realizing that a lot of these books are during like the peak reading of my life. So when I was bored of every other genre, I wanted to go and try thriller mystery, and this was a book that every single child in this world recommended, and so I had to grab it. This is called The Silent Patient. I do not remember the story really well, and I hope you don't want me to, because you don't want any spoilers in a thriller mystery, right? Am I right or wrong? Okay, so this was a good read. Very soft, nothing major, but a proper thriller, like a proper thriller that you would expect in your thriller reading journey. You know what I'm saying? And this book is written by Alex Michaelides, and this has been rated really high in my reading list that I've made just for myself. So If you trust me, go buy this book, The Silent Patient. And if you're taking book recommendations from me, you better believe that you're going to be recommended books that even I haven't finished reading. So the next one in the list is the Women Who Run with the Wolves. Now this is the one that I'm going to start reading again, because I want to. I really want to read this book. I was recommended by Madeline RG. I listened to her podcast all day, all night, on repeat, I think, and I really like whatever she talks about on her podcast. So this book is about a wild, like, everything about women and how our body is built. It's not science, okay, but it's just like how our conscious brain works, how our subconscious brain works, and everything in between, about why we care so much, why we fall in love so easily, why we're so emotional, and why we get attached to things so easily. Maybe not all aspects of this book are very understandable. There are many metaphors in this book. Like, there's a story about, maybe you'd want to actually go ahead and listen to the podcast if you don't feel like reading a book this fat. It's called How to, like, Understand Your Intuition by Madeline RG. It's called, her podcast is called Pretty Lonesome. You can listen, but I would say that for somebody who wants to get into, like, a little challenging read, but also understand what goes on with women's mind and things to reach your potential or something, I would say that this is the book that you want to read. Also, okay, I'm sorry, not potential, but to understand your intuition better. When you feel like something's going bad, why do you feel something is going bad, and then you eventually realize that, yeah, it was in fact bad and you should have probably left a really long time ago, but you still stick. Why does that happen? Why do you look back every time you feel something is wrong and there was probably somebody following you or something like that? I hope that never happens, but you should read this book if you are into things like that. And the next book that I am definitely going to start reading again is, I stopped reading this because I was preparing for an exam. So this book is about 900 pages, okay, and I have read 566 pages. Now let's let's understand something. A person who's recommending you a book that is 900 pages long is not dumb enough to recommend you a bad book, period. Okay, so this book is called Shantaram and it's written by Gregory David Roberts. Now, the book is actually about him only, and it is a fantastic book to read if you are someone who likes knowing about a person's journey through life. If you like reading good things in depth, like, even when like, there are authors who describe a handshake with so much detail ingrained in it. I feel like if you're that kind of person, you would want to read these books, and it teaches you a lot about life, I would say. It's a great book, a literary masterpiece. It has the grit and pace of a thriller. It's actually pretty cool. This book is really, like, I am not putting this into a category if you can see it already, but I would say that it's a pretty solid autobiography. That's all. And last but not the very least is this book called Say You'll Remember Me. So if you remember the lyrics from Taylor Swift's song Say You'll Remember Me, standing in a nice dress, singing along. Okay. This book is written by Abby Jimenez and she writes, I hope it's a she. I haven't really searched that. I hope that they actually really write a lot of romance books. So this was one of the ones that I saw uh, over there lying and staring at me. So I was like, oh my god, I have to get it. So I love this book. I had stopped reading for 4 months now. The last book that I was reading was Shantaram, and then I stop reading, and for me to go back to this book felt a little bit heavy because I wasn't understanding where I left it. I had to reread a few things again, so I was like, maybe let's start fresh and very simple. And this was like the perfect little, it's just like about 200 pages, and it's got a very good happy ending. It's a romance novel, and you want, like, a lot of people like happy endings in a romance novel and romance novel. So I would say that if you are into long distance relationships and all, and you're into handsome guys, there you are. There you are. Okay, watch the movie that I recommended, read the books that I recommended. You're going to enjoy your time while you do that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.